Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Venom vlog, and today we're going to try something a little different. I've been doing it on some of the other shows today. It's just because I'm not feeling too well and I don't want to be on camera and there's a lot going on. So, and I feel silly wearing my helmet, even though I'm sitting down. It's like I still, in case I get up or in case something happens, I have to wear it. And so I'm not feeling it right now, and I'm not feeling very well either, and I don't want that light in my eye anymore because my head is just killing me big time. So I figured I would just record some audio and we'll just overlay it to some images and stuff. I see other YouTubers do this sometimes, and I'm actually not a big fan of it. I think it kind of disconnects you guys from me in a way. I like having that personal look where I can look right at you guys and you can see me. But just for now, it's going to provide useful, I feel, just for right now, because I just can't have that light in my face anymore. So what I want to talk about today is just catch up on some news that a lot of you guys have been sharing and talking about, and we just haven't covered yet, which is, the big thing, which is we're like a week late now, but it was at, last week at the BAFTA Awards, where, Andy Serkis himself was there, and he received a really prestigious award, and it was really awesome to hear his speech. So I'll probably have some of that footage playing, and then we'll have some other stuff like spliced in. But I thought that was awesome. It was so great to see him win that, and obviously he had to take time out from filming Venom to go do that, and that's kind of what it is. He makes a comment, and I'll play that clip here in a little bit, where he talks about how long they are into shooting, and I had some people asking me, like, how long do movies take to film? The first Venom movie, I think they started, you guys always correct me because I think I always get the month wrong, but I want to say it was like August or September of 2017, but then they stopped for a while, or I can't remember. There was some issues there. I only remember picking up on the production like around early November, and then finish. They wrapped in San Francisco like early February of 2018. So I only remember it on that level, but I think some of you guys have corrected me and said I've gotten some of that information wrong before, which is completely possible. I'm going off memory. I think we maybe reported it properly the first time, or one of the first times that we did, but right now off memory I can't remember. But I would say a movie like Venom could take around anywhere from like 40 to 60 days to film in completion, as far as like principal photography. Obviously that doesn't mean that's all they do to the movie. There's people working on the movie from the second they announce it, pretty much, and then they get into the people writing it, like Kelly Marcel was writing Venom 2, and then Tom was like bouncing ideas off her, and then Tom was still doing like Peaky Blinders and other things. He was working on Fonzo and all these other movies, and the what's the one he's doing coming up with Ebenezer Scrooge that he did with Andy Serkis and stuff. So Christmas Carol. So yeah, I mean, the guy's very busy, and so the movie was being worked on for since the first one came out, and it was a hit. That once they realized they were making money, they were like, all right, we got to keep this going. So it was cool to see Andy kind of accept this amazing award for all of his accomplishments, because he is a very talented dude. And I remember when they first announced that he was in the running to be, along with Travis Knight and a couple other directors, I was just hoping that they would pick Andy. It made so much sense to me to pick Andy. You have these two, you're gonna have Carnage and Venom in this movie, and you need to bring some humanity to them a little bit. And I think Andy Serkis is really great as an actor, putting humanity in the monsters he plays. So it'll be cool to see him translate that with other actors, and I think it's going to add a really unique feel to this movie. I don't feel like it's going to have it might have a similar tone as the first movie, because I'm sure they want to pay respects in that regard of the universe and not do a complete departure. But I feel at the same time, like, the stuff Andy's going to bring to the table is just, he has a different type of style than Ruben Fleischer did, and I think because he's an actor too, he speaks a language that all other actors also speak. So I think it's going to be really, really great. So to answer that question of how I think Venom, I think I remember it filming like November 2017 to February 2018, but I think some of you told me that it started as early as August and maybe September, but they just had to they took a break, or I don't know what was going on. I think they did the rewrites. I can't remember. Yeah, so productions can go a bunch of different ways. It can be grueling. It is grueling. It's hard work to do this, to make movies, and I try to factor that in sometimes when I'm critiquing movies and stuff, especially comic books. When I'm critiquing comics, I try to understand that it is hard work, and that the people working on these books do try the things that make the most sense to them. But when I don't see like an evolution in those writers and stuff and artists, then that's when I start getting even more critical, and I become a little less. I start taken that side of my brain away where I start understanding them. I'm like, yeah, no, I was understanding in the beginning, now not so much. And that's kind of just always been the rule I have when I review things. So Andy, but I always thought Andy's been a tremendous performer, a tremendous actor, and seeing him win this award was great. But then afterwards, he did have a little interview that was like off the red carpet and stuff, or outside the event. And I think Venom Media, I saw him post a video of it, but I'll kind of have like clips of it here, or a clip of it here.
Hi, Andy. Stepping into the role of directing Venom, what can you tell us about what you will bring to the sequel? We see a lot of motion capture, I imagine.
Well, it's I really can't talk too much about it because I know boring, but we're 40 days into the shoot and it's really thrilling. We've got the magnificent Tom Hardy obviously at the centre of it, and we see a sort of deepening of the relationship between he and Venom, and obviously there's a nemesis character, and then that's all I can say. No, I mean it's going well, and we've got a fantastic cast in it, really, really great cast.
But basically, the main thing he talks about is they're asking him about Venom and Carnage and stuff, and he says, "Well, I can't say anything because I can't spoil anything." He goes, "But we're about 40 days into filming, 44 days into filming," which is interesting because we were talking about that too. That the movie started filming, I think like in November, like November 19th. So November 19th up until last week, technically that's way more than 44 days. But obviously they probably didn't shoot every single day. They, probably took a day or two off here and there, to work on stuff, to set things up. They got to get things right, especially if they're doing closed sets. Everything's controllable. They don't have to worry about weather or things like that because they're filming indoors, unless the weather is so bad that it shuts the power off, obviously. But they were in complete control. So they probably just shot what they needed, got what they needed, and now that they're wrapped in London, as we saw, they're moving over to San Francisco, and they're going to probably now start shooting stuff outdoors. And we know that Tom Hardy himself is in San Francisco because luckily this artist, this tattoo artist, posted this picture, which you're seeing now, named Tatted Tess. Big shout out to you, Tatted Tess, and your shop there, which is awesome. You guys all got to meet Tom Hardy, and he's I think going there to maybe get some work possibly done, added onto him, because obviously he's got a lot of cool tattoos. So I'm curious, and I don't know if he's that kind of guy that gets tattoos done after he finishes filming, or if he's the kind of guy who gets them done during filming. I don't know. So I don't. For all I know, he went there to set up appointments to get a tattoo in the future, or maybe he got it that day. I don't know. They don't. Tessa's pictures don't show that. But I'm gonna guess that he might be just setting it up to do another day. Because one thing you definitely don't want to do is get a tattoo in the middle of filming a movie, and then in one scene you have the tattoo and the next scene you don't. But again, he's probably getting in a spot where it's covered up through the movie anyway, so it probably doesn't matter. But yeah, so anyway, Andy Serkis in his like a little bit of time he had where he was talking on the red carpet, he was saying like, I can't reveal too much of the movie, but obviously it's about Eddie Brock. We're diving deeper into his psychology, into his character, and also the psychology of his antagonist, which obviously is Carnage. He's like, there's a villain character and we're diving into him too. So I'm really excited. Hearing that and hearing him just talk about character is amazing, because normally that's not always the go-to thing that directors might mention when they're talking in interviews, when they get like, oh, here's one question we can ask you about Venom. It's so great to hear him just go right to character and say like, oh, we're really fleshing out the characters, we're working on the characters. And that's what I wanted to hear, because the first movie, I feel like Tom committed to his role and really fleshed out his character, and I think Michelle Williams did as good as she could with her character, and Reed Scott with his character, but I feel like not much else. Jenny Slate felt like a good character to me too, her character working for the Life Foundation, but some of the villains didn't. They didn't really work for me, and I didn't feel that level of commitment. And so I'm hoping to see that in this movie, and I think with Andy at the helm, I think that's entirely possible. So yeah, that's kind of the movie news I want to talk about. The last thing I'll mention, I'll make a separate video for, because it'll be really quick, so we'll get to that in another video. But let me know your thoughts on all this, on Andy Serkis's his acceptance speech. If you heard that, it's fantastic. Please check it out. He thanks pretty much everybody, and that's what I really love to hear, is people who remember who helped them get to where they are, because nobody gets to where you are at the top by yourself. You don't do it. It's just not. Is it possible? Maybe, but most people don't do it. So it was nice to hear him thank all these amazing and talented people, and it's great to see him forging forward and making him his name as a director. And I really hope Venom 2 is something that is really fun for him, and really something he's really happy with at the end of the day. And I hope it's something we're all happy with at the end of the day. So let me know your thoughts down below, as always, and we'll continue our conversation about all this down there. Thanks so much for watching the show. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the future. Peace.